Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to see 16 awesome types of transport from bikes to cars. I hope you fastened your invisible seatbelts. But if you are really driving now, check that they're secure. After watching, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and make the bell button gray so you will not miss on the next episode. And let's go! And we are starting with a bike from a homegrown engineer, Tarso Marquez. He used to be a Formula 1 driver, but now he creates different gizmos. Believe me, he has enough imagination since he has made such a motorcycle. As you can see, there are no details here that we can usually find in bikes. Big wheels, and especially a huge engine, stand out against the hefty frame. In general, the idea of making a Rolls-Royce Continental is quite nice. Yes, maybe this bike is not very comfortable for everyday riding, but it is important for us to understand that if we always did only practical things, then we could miss the chance to come up with something really cool. But the coolest items are yet to come. Well, we continue today's video, and now you can see the lowest car in the world. The unrealistically low Panda first causes attacks of uncontrollable aggression, and then an outburst of laughter. At first glance, the car seemed to be stuck in the textures. But no, it's real, but so low that it seems like it's about to fall into the asphalt. Of course, you won't be able to drive it, but you can play pranks on the others. But you have to be careful, because you can get a fine for the total tinting, so I advise you to be careful on the roads and not to show yourself to the patrolman. Next, we have a car cart from an American engineer. According to Chuck, the car easily accelerates to 160 kilometers per hour, but such speed is of no use since the plan is to use this extraordinary car exclusively for charitable purposes and ordinary walks. And I really want to drive it to a hardware store and put a couple of bags of cement in it. By the way, this car is 5 times larger than the original Western Flyer wagon. Just tell me honestly, would you go for a ride in it for fun? Here you can see the opposite of a car, a functional truck upside down. The founder of the Museum of Unusual Cars, Rick Sullivan, built this turncoat based on a 1991 Ford Ranger pickup truck and a 1995 F-150. The car is legal to drive, so it is quite possible to move it around the city streets. Technically, the chassis is taken from Ford, since the SUV weighs 730 kilograms. It has all-wheel drive with independent front suspension. I couldn't find out exactly what engine Rick installed on this car, but if we continue to talk about Ford, then after '89, the basic equipment was produced with a 2B3-liter engine. In general, the redesigned model does not reveal much secrets from the technical side. This is the Hubbles, the world's first IVT motorcycle with 30-inch wheels. The large front wheel is hubless. It is made from solid billet, and the braking system is integrated into the wheel. A special pneumatic cylinder is designed taking into account the load that the wheel and motorcycle can withstand. Technically, its wheels have better braking properties than regular wheels. The suspension arm experiences noticeably less stress, since it is usually located at the lower edge of the wheel and has a smaller arm. Well, yes, this motorcycle looks incredibly stylish. Here you can see all-wheel drive, like a tank has. 6 engines, 6 wheels, and a cunning mechanism. Have you already guessed what I'm talking about? This bike runs on battery power, so you can forget about the roar of the engine, but its control is at the highest level. The programmable joystick allows you to run the motorcycle even on the steepest slopes. But the most important feature is its adaptation for people with disabilities. A lowerable seat, a luggage compartment, and high maneuverability. I want to give my respect to the engineer who has come up with all this. The next item is very ambiguous. On one hand, this concept looks cool, but on the other, it raises questions. Yes, engineers were working on this bike day and night to make it not only beautiful, but also useful. Imagine, even fish scales come in handy. But what struck me was the amazing combination of lightness and durability. This bike is not only easy to drive, it also withstands a good load, which makes it ideal for riding on the streets of the metropolis. But one thing is in doubt. Do you really think it can be left on the street if you just remove its seat? I believe that someone else will be riding this bike in an hour. Look at this custom steel horse. Judging by the design, the developer is a fan of the era of the Plague Doctor. In general, if I understood everything correctly, there's a whole movement of steampunk bikers who modernize or assemble their motorcycles or bicycles from scratch. They deliberately weld copper tubes and steel fenders onto the wheels and cover the seats with leather using large metal buttons. The more rough welded parts there are on the bike, the cooler the bike is. It should be noted that it looks really great. From a technical point of view, such bicycles do not have any special characteristics. Here is purely design and culture. As the school year has started, I'm going to show you a school bus, but not an ordinary one, but the one converted into a motorhome. Doesn't look particularly remarkable, but the interior is simply gorgeous. The bus is stuffed with electronics, so those who love cars made with the latest technology will really appreciate it. It has alarms on the windows, video surveillance, coded access, and of course the smart home system. The first thing that catches your eye is the spacious dining area with a huge TV. Nearby, there's a kitchen with a hob and an oven, a wash basin, and a large refrigerator. Naturally, there's also a bathroom equipped with a shower, a wash basin, a mirror, and a toilet. In general, there's everything you need for traveling. Or not. What would you like to add to such a motorhome if you buy one for yourself? Write it in the comments. It will be interesting to know your opinion. We continue telling you about the most unusual camping cars. And now you can see a huge house with 2 retractable sections and a garage. Its sleek design and intuitive technology are impressive, and its reputation speaks volumes. The motorhome is made taking into account all wishes, so its spacious interior pleases a lot. A smart home system, air conditioning, a functional kitchen, and a leisure zone will make your stay comfortable and unforgettable. Besides, there is also a garage for your car. Well, if you don't want to take your car with you, then you can store everything you need for active recreation and long trips. Pretty cool, right? I know, that's why I wanted to show it to you. Here is the most environmentally friendly car you can imagine. Only the Flintstones can be more environmentally friendly. This is a bicycle car. To tell the truth, looking at the price rise, I really think that this idea is not a bad one. Why not? Here, for example, is a version of an electric bicycle and a car in retro style. The cabin is designed for one driver. It has stylish wheels and a body reminiscent of the first cars. The creator of the Jaguar and the Land Rover worked on the design. The maximum speed of the car is 56 kilometers per hour, which is generally not that slow. Besides, if you miss the battery charge, you can always start pedaling it yourself. And here is the hero of today's video, a 2-wheeled bike with huge wheels that can cause nausea just by looking at it. The huge bicycle monster rides just like this in Golden Gate Park. These guys get as crazy with bikes as they can. Its tires are as thick as a bulldozer's, and it looks like it's going to smash everything in its path. Why don't people fly like birds? It seems to me that the developers of this backpack seriously decided to correct this injustice. While this jetpack is still under development, the chief designer, Matt Lipsky, says that it's the latest technology for a self-leveling flying device. The pilot can take off and control the flight while standing, thanks to 2 turbine blades on the sides. Somewhat like a powerful drone, this version has LED lighting for night flying and an electric flight instrument. In the next stage of development, they plan to improve the safety system, as well as the high-speed and high-altitude tests. The final cost and the date of announcement to the large market are still unknown. I guess now it's quite difficult to surprise you with anything. Indeed, this motorhome does not stand out among the others, but nevertheless I've included it in our selection because it is more suitable for camping sites than for frequent trips. Inside, there's everything you need for a super comfortable stay. A nice kitchen with a wash basin and an induction hob, a large refrigerator, and a washing machine. All this allows you to live, denying yourself nothing for 6 months. I think this is a worthy option for those who dream of living in different parts of the country while saving a good amount of money. Now I want to ask you something. What is the name of the festival where tech geeks and innovation pursuers come from all over the world every year? There are no rules or roles there. Here, everyone can express themselves in any way they want. Well, while you're thinking, I'll tell you about a cool bike that belongs to a cross-country fan. This bike was made to order for Tim, who simply loves to ride around the city like this and catch the eyes of passers-by. By the way, the bike looks cool, but it seems to me that to pedal it, you need legs like a track cyclist. What about Banana Mood? The creator of this car spent his whole life designing crazy cars, from hot dogs to, well, bananas. One day he stopped at a gas station where there was a banana on the billboard. It was moderately straight, with a slightly crooked shape, and while he was standing in queue, the only thing he was thinking about was where to put the wheels and what diameter they should be, as well as what part the engine would fit into. He imagined how he would drive about along the roads and how cheerful people around him would feel. Well, in general, these thoughts didn't take long to become real, and now a bright yellow banana is driving along the streets of Michigan. The basis was a 1993 Ford F-150. The frame itself was designed and welded by hand. The construction of the fruit car took about 2.5 years. It's quite difficult to calculate the final cost of the vehicle due to the long development and construction. Since we're talking about a healthy lifestyle, I will show you the first urban bike made from recycled materials. It is really special as it was created in the light of all the wishes of the Greenpeace people. Each part of it, from the frame to the steering wheel, is made from recyclables. And it is especially cool that this bike is ideal for the bustle of the city. It's lightweight and agile, fast and durable, and at the same time, its designs remain fashionable and stylish. According to Jesus Guevara, the engineer of this wonderwork, he's proud that he has managed to create such a unique and useful transport for traveling around the city. Well, let's start with a luxurious motorhome with its own garage. Yes, you heard it right. This is a house that can accommodate a supercar. Wherever you go, you will always have a car at hand. I wonder who came up with this unusual idea, and why it is so important. Although, nothing can surprise me anymore, since I found out that this van costs 1.5 million euros. What can we get for such an amount? A real paradise. That means a cozy place to relax, a minibar, modern TV, a full kitchen set with a huge refrigerator, and even a bathroom with a shower and toilet. And this is not just a house on wheels, but a real house with all the amenities. We can call it all-inclusive, because it really has everything. And let's be honest, this is an ideal option for those who are dreaming of endless road trips. It's really cool, isn't it? And here's another incredible item. A man designed a cart in the form of either a bird or an animal walking on metal legs. It is based on the engine, and the carriage itself is controlled by the reins. There are 2 wheels and a seat for the driver at the back. There's a complete feeling that this unknown beast is harnessed. The maximum speed that the beast can reach is about 6 kilometers per hour, which is not that fast, but this development was probably made for leisurely evening promenades, not high-speed driving. And yes, as the animal's paws move, the animal head seems to look to both sides, creating the full impression that it's alive. Well, we're back to another Japanese masterpiece. Here's the Toyota that I saw at the Tokyo Toy Fair 10 years ago. You know, the car looks so real that even adults can ride it. There's one thing that distinguishes it from the rest: you can change the look and add different details. It's like a constructor, but only on an enlarged scale. I bet you can't guess how much this toy costs. Write the price in the comments. I want to know your opinion. To build a Batmobile like the one in The Dark Knight is a task that might be nearly impossible for most of us, but not for a genius inventor like Luke. He decided to assemble the Batpod, a wonder bike from the same Batman universe. How did he get to this point, you ask? It's very simple. Same as us, Luke watched the movie The Dark Knight and was amazed by the Batpod. He decided he wanted the same bike, and he created it. Luke now has his own Batpod and can feel like the real Batman when he rides it on the streets. This project has become not only a dream that has come true for him, but also an inspiration for many fans of the franchise. It's time to show you one serious item. Friends, this really is a Swiss Army knife on wheels. The car is simply ideal for exhibitions. This is a real laboratory based on the latest technologies. There's everything you can imagine: cameras for photography and video, thermal imagers, a satellite system, and even a motorcycle. And this is not to mention the fact that there's everything that is necessary for a comfortable stay for a small company. Who knows? Maybe these are the vehicles that will become our companions on the long journeys in our future. Now you can see a Korean, full-fledged electric bike. It is equipped with the ability to charge quickly. A battery with a capacity of 13,440 milliamps is enough to ride for 3 to 4 hours. The weight of the bike itself is 180 kilograms. Its drive range is about 300 kilometers, and its maximum speed is 125 kilometers per hour. It has 24-inch tubeless tires and brakes installed on both wheels. These wheels are equipped with oil shock absorbers. The frame is made of aluminum alloy. Every time when charging is required, the motorcycle will notify you about it. This is a universal means of transportation. You can easily move around the necessary points in the city. The device is also friendly with village roads. It is silent and powerful, like a wild beast in the concrete jungle. If you say that size does not matter, then remember Sheikh Ahmad, who is famous for his collection of giant cars. This time he decided to set a record not only in size. The giant Debian is considered the most ingenious SUV in the world, which is on display at the Al Madam Museum in Sharjah. This Debian is striking in its size and design. It has become a sentinel piece of engineering and automotive design. Although as for me, it is nothing like that. Well, we are slowly approaching the climax, and the next item in the review is a compact house on an auto train. You can always leave it somewhere at the campsite and go on an excursion by car. By the way, this is more convenient than trudging on a huge bus as before. This is a good option for those who value mobility and comforts. As for the contents of the motorhome, everything here is in perfect order. A leisure zone, a small kitchen, a sleeping place for two, a bathroom, and a toilet. And nothing more is needed, is it? In the meantime, as a dad, I can't help but admire the next ingenious item. This mini car looks exactly like a real Lamborghini. The design, the body parts, and all other elements are made at such a high level that it's difficult to imagine that there's really such an exact mini copy of the legendary supercar. This is not just a toy, this is a real opportunity to feel yourself like a real racer. And trust me, it's unforgettable to see kids riding this mini car with smiles on their faces. The engineers really tried to ensure that every element remained flawless. I wouldn't mind driving a car like that myself, but where can I order it? If anyone knows, please write it in the comments. Perhaps if we find it, we'll make a super raffle among the subscribers of our channel by the new year. How do you like that idea? The custom electric bike from J-Route looks like it rolled out of a cyberpunk game. This is an incredibly cool model with powerful characteristics. It reaches a maximum speed of 50 kilometers per hour, and you can travel from 17 to 50 kilometers on a full charge, depending on the road and temperature conditions. The battery charges from 0 to 100% in 4 hours. You can move both around the city and through forest areas on such a streamlined and bright bicycle. Having received your order, the developers clarify your parameters and make each model of the two-wheeled beast especially for you. Looking at such bicycles, it is difficult to imagine that 25 years ago, there was not even a hint of electric bicycles. The first modern models began to appear around the beginning of the 90s. Of course, there were certain homemade prototypes before, but they did not correspond to the quality and level that appeared later. The first e-bikes were created primarily for getting around the city, and nothing else. In Europe, people love the environment and hate paying for gas, so they choose a bicycle as a means of transportation. That is, a person gets on this bike and goes to work, in fact, without even turning the pedals. And the highlight of our program is a shoe-shaped vehicle. The car really resembles a shoe, so there's nothing surprising here. But I still have one question. What do these guys smoke before they get such crazy ideas? You can't mock cars like that. After all, they also have souls. But wait, what am I talking about, guys? It seems that this is contagious, so we urgently move on to the next guest of our program. This is a Land Sea Monster, a super heavy military amphibian. It was built to order by the US Army to transport troops, tanks, and trucks ashore. It moves through the water with the help of air-filled pontoons attached to tracks, and is designed to demonstrate a way to transport standard 20 or 40-foot containers from conventional container ships to shore without using a harbor. The use of track supports equipped with dense air-impregnated foam blocks give it buoyancy in water and movement on land, allowing it to overcome mud, sand, and marshy areas on the shore. It's quite a functional machine. It's hard to believe, but the tractor is able to fit everything that a heavy truck can fit. In 2018, a unique type of home mobility device based on the Porsche 996 car was developed in Spain. Before this, the developers were working on furniture and various types of beds that looked like cars. The Porsche 996 hoverboard is one of the first models to take advantage of all the benefits of upholstered home furniture and the ability to move independently from a car. Unfortunately, there is no information about its full characteristics, power, and charging methods in open sources. Well, here's a nominee for the most useless invention. Of course, it's difficult to call this a skateboard, but maybe someone will still like it. This skateboard with legs probably came to us from a series of bicycles on square wheels. As for me, I don't like such things. It doesn't matter how much Theo, a young engineer from Detroit, praises it, the simple truth is that you can easily turn gold into shit, but you need to try really hard to make the opposite. Do you want to argue about this? I'll keep an eye on the comments. Leave them under the video. What will happen if you combine the most powerful sports car engine with a motorcycle? That's right, it will be pure madness. That's what Chuck Beck thought when he had started creating a high-speed monster. This is the Lamborghini at 12. The speed of this motorcycle can reach 225 kilometers per hour. Chuck put the engine in a brand new custom motorcycle frame. He keeps most of the technical side under wraps, but what is known is that he combined the V12 engine to a Volkswagen Type 3 gearbox and tuned it to a top speed of 225 kilometers per hour. In terms of design, everything from the fairings and lights to seats is custom. But now all we have to do is spin the pedals. The PodRide minicar doesn't take up much space in your garage. You know, this is really convenient, especially in metropolises, where there's crazy city traffic on the street and there's practically no parking spaces left. It is easy to maneuver on such a bike, and there's always a roof over your head, so rain and sun are definitely not a problem. What can I say? This is the perfect solution for those who want the convenience of a car and the benefits of a bicycle. But if you're not very good at it, then Alex Scott, the Hot Wheels inventive engineer, will always come to the rescue. Here we see a real copy of a Mustang. This minicar accurately copies the design of a real one and does not leave anyone indifferent. By the way, this is a great way to start collecting cars. Who knows, maybe in 10 years you'll be able to sell your collection for the price of a real sports car. As for me, this is a good investment. Be sure to think about it. It is so cool when parents pay attention to their children's needs. They approach this matter with mind and soul. One American built a real mini bulldozer for his son. For this, he used an old Briggs Snowfighter. Now, this mini car has 3 horsepower, 5 speeds, and reverse. The coolest thing is that his child has been able to drive such cars since childhood. I think as he grows up, he'll have no problems getting a driver's license. Well, that's all, guys. Share your impressions in the comments.